Why don't onions ever win poker games? Because they can't stop peeling. Now that's a good laugh, but let's get serious. We often think onions are vital in every dish, but that's a common misconception. It's the culinary equivalent of an illusionist trick. But what if you're allergic to onions or simply don't like their taste? So you're in a pickle, or should I say onion, because you can't or don't want to use onions in your cooking. Well, honey, you're in the right place. Believe it or not, there's a whole culinary world beyond onions. Now, before you gasp in disbelief, let me assure you that it's true. Onions may be a popular ingredient in many recipes, but they aren't the only game in town. So, let's dive into the delicious world of onionless gourmet cuisine. Imagine a rich, hearty stew or a spicy stir-fry or even a comforting bowl of pasta. Now imagine these dishes without a hint of onion. Impossible, right? Wrong. These dishes and so many more can be made just as flavorful, if not more so, without the tears and pungent aroma of onions. Now you might be thinking, but onions add depth and complexity to a dish. How can we achieve that without them? Well, it's all about using the right substitutes. Garlic, shallots, leeks, and even fennel can step in to add that much needed depth of flavor. These ingredients can be sautéed, roasted, or even caramelized to achieve the same savory notes that onions usually provide. And let's not forget about the power of spices. A well-selected blend of herbs and spices can elevate any dish, onion-free or not. Think of bay leaves, thyme, rosemary, or cumin. These can add a whole new dimension to your food, making it rich, aromatic, and deeply satisfying. But it's not just about replacing onions. It's about exploring new ways of cooking and discovering new flavors. So, why not try a Mediterranean dish with tangy citrus and fresh herbs? Or how about a Thai curry with its blend of spicy, sweet, and sour flavors? The possibilities are endless. Remember, cooking is an art, and like any art, it's all about creativity and experimentation. Don't be afraid to try new ingredients, new combinations, and new techniques. You might just stumble upon your new favorite recipe. As you can see, onions might add flavor, but they sure aren't the alpha and omega of cooking. So let's bid adieu to the teary-eyed kitchen sessions and embrace the flavorful world of onionless gourmet. Ready to whip up a gourmet meal that won't make your eyes water or your breath stink? Let's dive right in, shall we? First things first, we're going to need to gather our ingredients. For our onionless gourmet masterpiece, we'll be preparing a scrumptious, buttery garlic shrimp pasta. You'll need fresh, peeled shrimp, angel hair pasta, unsalted butter, minced garlic, white wine, heavy cream, salt, and pepper. And of course, freshly grated Parmesan cheese. Alright, now that we've assembled our culinary arsenal, let's move to step 1. Bring a large pot of salted water to a boil. Once it's bubbling like a witch's cauldron, add your angel hair pasta. Cook it until it's al dente, which is Italian for to the tooth. It just means that your pasta should be firm when bitten. Remember, no one likes a limp noodle. While your pasta is boiling away, let's get to step 2. In a large skillet, melt 2 tablespoons of butter over medium-high heat. Once your butter's melted and sizzling, add your shrimp. Season it lovingly with salt and pepper. Cook until the shrimp are pink and opaque, about 2 to 3 minutes per side. Then remove them from the skillet and set them aside. They'll be back, don't worry. Now, on to step 3. In the same skillet, add another 2 tablespoons of butter. Once it's melted, add your minced garlic. Let it cook, stirring it frequently until it's golden and fragrant. This is where your kitchen starts to smell like a 5-star restaurant. But don't get too lost in the aroma, we still have work to do. Step 4 is where the magic really happens. Pour in half a cup of white wine. Let it simmer until it's reduced by half. This process intensifies the flavors and makes your sauce rich and complex. If you're not a fan of wine, you can use chicken broth instead. It'll still taste fabulous, I promise. Once the wine has reduced, it's time for step 5. Stir in a cup of heavy cream and bring it to a gentle simmer. Let it cook for about 5 minutes, until the sauce has thickened slightly. This is your pasta's dream come true, a creamy, garlicky sauce that's packed with flavor. Finally, it's time for step 6. Return your cooked shrimp to the skillet and toss them in the sauce to get them all nice and coated. Then, drain your pasta and add it to the skillet as well. Toss everything together until your pasta is coated in the sauce and the shrimp are evenly distributed. And now, for the grand finale, step 7. Remove your skillet from the heat and sprinkle your freshly grated Parmesan cheese over the top of your pasta. Then give everything one final toss to combine. The cheese will melt into the sauce, creating a dish that's creamy, cheesy, and utterly delicious. Now, doesn't that sound simpler than trying to chop an onion without crying? And the best part is, you've just prepared a gourmet meal without a single tear shed. But before we wrap up, here's a quick tip. If you find that your sauce is too thick, you can thin it out with a bit of the pasta water. The starch in the water will help to loosen the sauce without diluting the flavor. And if your sauce is too thin, let it simmer a bit longer. It'll thicken up as the water evaporates. And there you have it. A mouth-watering gourmet meal that didn't require a single onion. Who knew? Well, now you do. So the next time someone tells you that you can't cook a gourmet meal without onions, you can prove them wrong with this delicious onionless garlic shrimp pasta. Enjoy! So, you've cooked one onionless meal, but what about the rest of your culinary journey? If you've got an aversion to onions, or perhaps you're cooking for someone who does, don't fret. There's a whole world of flavor out there waiting to be explored, minus the onions. So let's dive into some tips and tricks for onionless cooking. Firstly, consider the role of onions in your dish. They're often used to provide a base flavor, so think about other vegetables that can fill that role. Celery, bell peppers, or carrots can work wonders. Sauté them just as you would an onion, letting them caramelize a bit to bring out their natural sweetness. Next, let's talk about substitutes. There are many flavorful alternatives to onions. Fennel, for example, has a sweet, licorice-like flavor that can provide a unique twist to your dishes. Leeks, too, can be a great substitute, offering a milder flavor that won't overpower the other ingredients. Garlic is another good option, especially for those who don't mind a little pungent kick. Just a clove or two can impart a significant amount of flavor. And if you're really feeling adventurous, try using ginger. It's spicy, it's sweet, it's everything you need to add that extra oomph to your meals. Don't forget about herbs and spices. They can enhance the flavors of your dishes, making them taste even better without the need for onions. Rosemary, thyme, and oregano are great for savory dishes, while cinnamon, nutmeg, and allspice can add warmth and depth to sweet ones. Finally, if a recipe calls for onions, don't be afraid to experiment. Replace the onions with one of the substitutes mentioned, or simply leave them out altogether. You might be pleasantly surprised by the results. Remember, cooking is all about creativity and making a meal your own, onion or no onion. Well, we've been on quite a journey today, haven't we? We've debunked the onion paradox, showing that gourmet cooking can indeed be sans onions. We've explored a cornucopia of onionless dishes and walked through a step-by-step guide to create your own. Lastly, we've shared some nifty tips and tricks to enhance your onionless culinary adventures. So the next time you find yourself in the kitchen, remember, an onionless meal can be just as delicious. Cook with confidence, my friends, and always make it tasty.